What's up, guys? It's you, and welcome back to week 2, episode 1 of our push to rank 500 in the Ubers tier. Funny story, if you look at our rank, you will see that I played one more match than I did last week. We're like 1426 or something stupid. Yeah, 1423. That's because midway through last recording, I meant to hit the delete button to delete what I had typed in chat, because I started typing like /data something to see if I was actually facing a cigar to grad on. Turns out I was. I accidentally hit the off button on my computer, and so it stopped the recording halfway through, and I have to redo this recording, although it's not too big of a deal because I was only one match in. Anyway, we're at 1423, which means we are only something dumb like 1487, 1423. We are about 64 points away from achieving our goal on the ladder. We are using a Deoxys attack team this week, because Deoxys attack is god. We have Lando T, which is basically our blaze that can check on this team with Rocks, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and U-Turn. EV shown here. We also have Scissor, which is Mega Scissor, basic Xerneas check, set EVs. Deoxys attack with Psycho Boost, which is a nuke. Superpower, E-Speed, and Knockoff. Gets us up to 504 special attack with our spread we're running, so that's pretty cool. We also have Zekrom, Scarf Zekrom, which is kind of a staple in Ubers. The reason why most people run a Ground Mon on their team, with Bolt Strike, Outrage, Draco, and Volt Switch. Then we also have Arceus Water with the Splash Plate, duh, because it's Arceus Water. With Judgment, Willow, Defog, and Recover as a support Arceus. And then we have Geozer in the same set we ran last week. So, we're jumping into a match right here. We end up getting one against a very, very threatening team. Probably E-Killer. Wow, this team is like 5 offensive Mons and Giratina. Which is kind of questionable because it kills all offensive momentum. I'm just going to lead with my Zekrom. He ends up leading with Kyogre. I'm fine with that. He doesn't have a ground type to stop me from Volt Switching, so that's what I'm going to do. BRB. If this is Specs, this looks like Specs Ogre. Something's about to get nuked. Arceus Water is my Kyogre check on the team. Ends up Ice Beaming, which is great for me. I'm gonna Willow. Hoping you go out in something like Mega Kangaskhan, although you just stay in. And Calm Mind. That is bad. That is bad. I'm just gonna Judgment. I know it's not very effective, but it's going to be doing enough damage. Never mind. We just get straight up wrecked. So I think the game plan now is go out into Zekrom and Fusion Bolt. Because Fusion or Bolt Strike's gonna hit like a truck. Easily knocks out Kyogre. Crit didn't matter. Looking at the Volt Switch damage. So it's a 5-5 game. I lost Arceus Water, which is going to stink later in the game if I have to deal with E-Killer, because then the duty falls on Lando to deal with it. He ends up going out into his own Zekrom, kind of anticipating the Dragon move, and his team looks pretty darn weak to his Xerneas. So I'm going to go out into my Xerneas here. Hopefully he locks himself in on Outrage or something, which would give me a chance to Geomancy for free. And hopefully I'm not being too predictable. Because that would stink as well. Because he has his Rain. And oh, he just makes a good double into Kanga. So good play on your part. Kind of expecting the Fake Out. So I'm going to go into Lando to get the Intimidate off. Because that will help me a lot. He ends up Mega Evolving, going for the Fake Out. And Mega Kanga isn't amazing in the tier. Like, don't get me wrong, he's great. But he's not like the best Mon in the tier or anything. Ends up going into Darkrai, which takes a lot of damage right there. Now I gotta sack something to sleep. I need Lando to deal with E-Killer. Scissor is looking very expendable at this point, although I would like his priority for later in the match. I need Zekrom. Actually, do I need Zekrom? I don't really need Zekrom that much anymore. I'm going into Zekrom to sack to sleep. He, as I expected, ends up putting him to sleep. I'm going into Scissor though, because I think Scissor can take whatever hit Darkrai wants to go for, and I can retaliate fairly easily with a Bullet Punch. He ends up just nasty plotting. When you're at 8% of your health, I would rather just get off some damage, because he ends up having to pull a hard switch here into his Zekrom, and I'm not really fearing whatever this Zekrom's going to go for, so I'm going to U-turn, and he ends up Bolt Striking. That actually does a lot of damage. I'm an idiot. So I'm going to go into Lando, because Lando gets a free Earthquake off if this thing is choiced. And we're going to see if he's choiced right here. Although he hasn't seen an item from me, so he could probably suspect that I'm Scarf too. But Kanga is not appreciating that Earthquake very much. I'm going into Zekrom here to sack. He ends up going for the fake out. I'm gonna outrage. He ends up body slamming, so that's body slam Kanga. It's different. I'm gonna go to Lando though, because I think I can Earthquake something and I will take out Kanga. He ends up sucker punching, which isn't gonna do that much, because of the Intimidate drop, which is great for me. And I'm hoping he thinks I'm Scarfed Lando at this point, because I actually don't have a Scarf for him. Yeah, I do have a Scarf for it. It's just Zekrom. Here comes Darkrai though. He gets to put something else to sleep. Now the question is, am I going to be able to set up on Darkrai after I lose Lando? Or you could just miss Dark Void. That does the same thing for me. Or I can potentially set up on Giratina. He ends up just going for the Dark Pulse, which is a good play on his part. But I'm going to go into Scissor here and Bullet Punch, because looking at his team, Giratina would want to take a Bullet Punch, but oh, he still has Zekrom around. Zekrom blends into this layout, which is kind of annoying. But, you know, I'm just going to U-turn. He ends up Bolt Striking. Good play on his part. Xerneas doesn't have that great of defenses, although Deoxys attack can probably finish this guy off. Probably. I'm going to go for the knockoff here, because I'm fairly certain I can finish you off. Actually, your Scarf Zekrom, you outspeed me. I'm dumb. So Xerneas, this game is in your hands right now. Can you take a Bolt Strike? Xerneas can take a Bolt Strike, and Xerneas can also Geomancy. So, actually, you're going to die to Extreme Speed from Arceus, unless you switch Arceus in right now. But you're not going to fall for that. Unless you, like, oh, you go into Giratina, so I'm just going to Moonblast. Maybe he doesn't. Oh, this is Arceus too. There's Darkrai. Darkrai just comes in and dies to Moonblast. So he's either making the score closer, or he doesn't have E-Speed on Arceus. I'm hoping that it's the latter. Oh no, I'm not able to knock it out. He Swords Dances, so I'm going to go for the Moonblast here, and he takes me out. So that was actually a very, very close game. That brings me down to 14-11. We're going to grab another match, though. Alrighty. I remember seeing this team on the forums, the Ubers forums. This is Mega Gengar. This is like Lead, Spin, Icicle Spear, Cloyster. We also have a Banded Ho-Oh, I think, Sunsetter, E-Killer, and this thing. It's just kind of annoying. Actually, Arceus can be anything because shows up as normal Arceus. But I'm leading Zekrom because I know this team leads Cloyster. And I'm going to Volt Switch because I know you don't carry Ice Shard. You carry Icicle Spear, like Spin, and a couple other things. Switch out into Groudon, which was the good play. I just didn't want to predict too early. I'm going out into Lando, though, because rocks are probably coming right here. You make a good double out into your Cloyster. How fast is Cloyster? Data, Cloyster. Cloyster is base 70, meaning I can U-turn as he goes out into Gengar. I'm fine with this. I am fine with this. Because this gives me a good switch out into my Deoxys. And I think knockoff from Deoxys will KO from this range. And I can also knock off another item on his team, which is awesome for me. Because Ho-Oh likes its band. We're lag checking hard. We are lagging hard. So hold this knockoff. How fast are you? Yeah. Oh, you end up going into Ho-Oh. Do you lose your band? Yeah, you lose your band. So I'm gonna Psycho Boost here because it's pretty much a nuke to one thing on the team, barring miss. So it does end up taking out Ho-Oh easily. Kind of expecting Gengar to come back in here, and at that I kind of just have to sack something. Actually, Zekrom comes in. I'm gonna go into Lando, predicting the electric move, although it's probably just gonna be an outrage or something. He ends up doubling into Cloyster again. I don't know what he thought was coming out there. Actually, he's gonna Icicle Spear, I think. So I'm gonna go into Arceus Water. Yeah. The overpredicts are real. Yes, they are, good sir. I'm gonna Willow, because I can Willow this thing to shut it down offensively, as he ends up setting up a spike. I'm just gonna defog away, because I'm not gonna let him trap me in here. Or I'm not gonna let him just set up hazards all over the place. As he ends up going out into his Gengar. Now the question is, can I take on Gengar? I don't think I can. So the question is, what becomes the most expendable member of my team? Xerneas would be nice later, because if I get rid of Gengar, I sweep with Xerneas. Scissor's looking mighty expendable. I kind of want Zekrom just for some speed later. Deoxys attack is a nuke that can take down any one thing, and I need Lando for E-Killer. So it looks like Arceus gets the boot here. I'm just going to Judgment, though, as he ends up taunting, preventing me from recovering. But I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO him with... Oh, he ends up debonding. So I will actually make that trade. I get Mega Gengar out the way. And all your stuff is now O-Code. I'm actually going to go into Zekrom here on the rule that in the event... Wow. Okay, you have Zekrom. So usually I play it by the rule of the double down, as I call it. If you have a double down, you go into your Scarfer to try to reboot momentum, and that's a good rule for offensive teams to follow, generally. And you can actually win a lot of matches that way, because somebody will go into something that doesn't give them good momentum, and then you can just build from there. But we're gonna check for lag again. Looks like we are lagging, which is a bit disappointing. It is a bit disappointing, guys. But he doubles into Arceus Fairy, which I guess is fine. Kind of want to get up Rocks, but Ho-Oh's gone anyway. I'm actually gonna get up Rocks. So he ends up Willowing. Okay. That's nothing more than a nuisance, honestly. He ends up giving me the Fairy Judgment. Hey, don't judge me. I'm gonna go ahead and Arce Deoxys attack here, because I can nuke another thing with Psycho Boost. Hopefully it hits Psycho Boost. Actually, Arceus tanked that and used Judgment, so that's cool. But we're gonna go into Scissor here and have Bullet Punch Party, where we can U-turn predicting Zekrom. Kind of want to U-turn predicting Zekrom. I'm gonna U-turn predicting Zekrom. Yeah, here comes Zekrom. So that is about 35%, which isn't great, but it isn't anything to sneeze at either. I can go into Lando, and I can Earthquake, and basically this forces him into his Dragon Stab or into a Switch, either of which I'm okay with. Because in scenario 1, where he goes for his Dragon Stab, I get a free turn to come in and set up with Xerneas and win. Or he switches and I get to Earthquake something. So he did make the better play on right there. Honestly, he did. But I'm going to go into Xerneas anyway. Hopefully this Groudon doesn't pack Roar. If this Groudon packs Roar, I could be in trouble. But we're going to Geomancy. Hopefully you don't Roar. If you Roar, I'm going to be very upset. We obviously moved before Groudon. He ends up Earthquaking. Sweet. So Moonblast should take Groudon out from here easily. We have Cloyster left. Cloyster, I think, just comes in and dies. Yeah, Cloyster comes in and dies. Arceus Fairy comes in and dies to Rocks. And I outspeed the Zekrom because I'm at +2. He said GG twice for some reason. And I will take Zekrom out. So that gets us up to 1436, which is pretty good. That we actually knocked him out of the top 500 of the ladder. I'm sorry there. We're gonna jump into one more battle for today's episode. He has a Mega Gengar, Imposter Ditto, Giratina O, which I kind of wanted to use this week. He also has a Xerneas, so I gotta keep Scissor around. Come on, Geo, gotta keep Scissor around. Also, gotta make sure Ditto is gone before setting up a Zern. And then probably Banded Ho-Oh in some form of Arceus. So I'm gonna lead with Lando here, just because Lando is generally a good lead, and I can also counter it very well with if he decides to lead with Ditto, because I'm giving him a choice scarf to Lando then. I'm just gonna start my timer here. I should probably say good luck, have fun. That's always a polite thing to do. Alrighty. Let's see what you're gonna lead with EJ7. I may change my showdown layout. Just because I've had this one for a long time. I'm kind of getting bored of it, and it's hard to see Zek around the layout. I know I probably won't be playing Ubers for that much longer, but it will be nice to see Zekrom on the layout. I may change it to the Wi-Fi layout that everybody's been using, because that one's very, very cool. But other than that, I've just had this one for so long, I haven't really explored anything else. So that will definitely be on my to-do list. And also, Volt White goes up today. Episode 1 of Volt White. So he leads with Ho-Oh. I lead with Lando. I kind of want to U-turn because I don't think he's going to want to stay in here, but I also want to set up my rocks. I'm going to opt to set up my rocks as he goes into Arceus Gracias. And I'm going to U-turn here. He'll probably defog, which would be a good play. Good play. Because I know he outspeeds me, unless he's running like 0 speed IVs min speed and he's Trick Room, which in that case I'll be so hosed. But we'll see what he goes for here. He could potentially just Judgment and end up taking me out. Although, for some reason I outspeed. I don't think I run any speed on Lando. But here's Gracias. I'm going to go into Zekrom because Zekrom resists your stabs and doesn't mind a Willow. So there's the Willow. It's another thing I was fearing. I'm going to Volt Switch here. I know it's not very strong, but I don't think he can do anything to me besides defog. And I'm going to go into my Scissor because I can hit him with a stab U-turn, which will hurt him a lot. And it forces him to either lose his Gracias, although this is probably support with just Willow, Recover, Defog. Oh wow, I completely forgot about Willow. I'm an idiot, but I end up getting a little bit of luck right there. And I'm able to hit him with the Willow. And at this point I may just come in an E-speed with Deoxys, and oh boy, I gotta finish up this match in like 4 minutes, so we're gonna hope Showdown works with us here. Hold on, I gotta cough real quick. Alrighty, I'm back. I wonder what happens if you knock off one of the grass plates. Anyway, don't have time to experiment with that. I'm going to knock off, because if you switch into Giratina, then you are not going to appreciate that. But I knock off your leftovers on Ho-Oh, and I should be able to knock you out from this range with the Psycho Boost. And nothing else on your team will take a Psycho Boost. Even if you come in and, yeah, Psycho Boost is a nuke. So, one reason I also went for Psycho Boost there, as opposed to predicting a switch, is that if he comes in, oh boy. I was gonna say if he comes, I lost. I was gonna say if he comes in with, he actually, okay. Finish your sentence, Geo. If he came in with Ditto, then he would trace the -2, which would be great for me. Anyways, I'm going into Lando here because I'm gonna Earthquake. I lost my main Zern check, which was terrible. It got completely wrecked because of the Willow from Arceus. I should have seen that coming, but that just comes with experience in the tier. I get a crit, which is cool. He ends up Moonblasting. I'm going to be able to knock him out on the next turn. So I'm actually going to go for a Stone Edge, kind of predicting Gengar. And here comes Gengar. Stone Edge hurts Gengar a lot. And at this point, I may just sack Scissor. No, I can't sack Scissor. Sacking Scissor would be a really dumb move, so I'm going to go in Arceus Water, as you Mega and go for the Shadow Ball, and I take that really well. I'm going to Judgment, because I know I can knock you out with the Judgment from here. Even if you switch, then I'm okay with that. You still have Gracias left. Actually, I shouldn't have fallen for that. That's 2 battles in a row I've gone down to Destiny Bomb from Gengar, which is kind of a pain, but, you know, that stuff happens. I'm going to go into Lando, though. Because Lando is probably my best option at this point. He ends up going into Ditto. What am I going to do here? I think I'm just going to U-turn. He ends up Stone Edging. Is able to take me out. And so I know he's locked in a Stone Edge. So he's also probably Scarfed. So I'm going to go into Xerneas. And I'm going to Geomancy. And while Geomancy may not be the best play when... Wow, I'm lagging again. While Geomancy may not be the best play with Ditto still sticking around, as long as my Xerneas is at full health, I can beat that Ditto one-on-one. So hopefully he doesn't stay in here for damage. If he stays in here for damage and gets a crit Stone Edge, I'm going to be very disappointed. Although I think his best switch right here is to just try to sack Gracias. Actually, he goes for Stone Edge, which is a pain in the butt. So now I hope you stay in and sack your Ditto. That is not the case. You go out and sack Xerneas, which is a good play. Go out into your own Ditto. So I gotta hope that he gets min damage and I get a crit. That is 73%, but I have lost the game at this point, I think. I'm gonna go out into Scissor and Bullet Punch. Because Bullet Punch will be able to take out your Ditto. Frankly, I don't think there's a lot of point in saving his Ditto at this point. Yeah, he just ends up sacking it to his Scissors Bullet Punch. That's good. So now he has a couple things left, one of them being this. I'm going to U-turn. You Calm Mind, that is a problem. I'm going to knock off here, although if you carry Shadow Sneak, you're going for it right here. I know that for sure. So hopefully I get like a crit knock off, and I'm able to take you out. Because I'm 1-on-1 so far, I think. So knock off. Hopefully with knock off is nothing. My lord. You end up Dragon Pulsing and taking me out because I'm frail. So that's going to be a good game. I'm just going to go ahead and forfeit at this point, and then check my rank. So Ubers actually pushed back a little bit in that episode. We're at 1421, which is still higher than we started, at least when I initially started recording. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the episode, please make sure to leave a like, because really this helps show support for the stuff that I'm doing here and the stuff on the channel and all that great stuff. Also, for today's question of the video, Giratina O or Giratina Normal? Giratina O is the one we just saw, it's the snake one, and Giratina Normal is the one that stands on all four legs. So, make sure to answer today's comment question of the video. And after that, make sure to subscribe, guys. I'm enjoying the constant content. With that, I'll catch you on the flip-flop.